here. So I am originally I'm 20 years old. I'm from Mountain View, California. My parents are immigrants, so first generation, all of that. I got introduced to computer science through Marissa. And so now I'm majoring in computer science at Sacramento State, and I'm interning this summer in New York City with Goldman Sachs.
Yay. Amazing. Jovita, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, my name is Jovita. I'm also 20, so I'm entering my last year of college. My pronouns are she, her. I'm interning right now at Discord. So if you know what that is, it's kind of like well, it has a lot of products. I'll explain it later. But yeah,
A lot of
born
the
in
girls
Napa
are on
County.
Discord. That's the one thing
What?
they have. Yeah, many of them have Discord.
Amazing. Well, then you can talk to me and you can talk to Sheyla too. Um, I go to UC Santa Cruz and I'm majoring in computer engineering. Got into kind of CS pretty late, like not in high school. Like I started probably halfway through college. Yes. Also, first generation, I was born here, but my parents immigrated here. Um, and so if you want to talk about how I got through college, how I paid, I'm here for that.
Thank you, Jovita. Yeah, my name is Paula, pronouns she, her, hers. I'm entering my 5th quarter at UC Santa Cruz, and I'm a computer science major there. When I was 3, my family moved from Mexico to here. So I'm a DACA recipient, if you guys can relate to that or have any questions about that. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I was with Marissa the second year of Empoder, and so I'm so excited to be here and meet all your faces. It's a great program. And so I actually did get introduced to computer science my junior year summer. But yeah, hi.
Awesome. Paula.
Yeah. Now it's my turn, I believe, if not. So my name is Sheyla Perez. I'm a first generation. My family came from Guatemala. I was born here and I'm studying computer science at Queens College in New York. I also intern as at Discord. I'm 21 years old, and I'm surprised to hear some of you are 20. Wow, I'm like 1 year older than you. But yeah, a little bit about myself is that I was never good at math or science, but decided to go for this field. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Sheyla, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, can you share a little bit about the struggles that you had initially in middle school and what you overcame as you decided that you want, what struggles did you have in middle school? And then, how did you sort of start overcoming those and end up eventually realizing that you wanted to study computer science?
Yeah, so for my whole childhood, I was never really good at school at all because my parents came from Guatemala. Like they didn't have any resources. They don't know the education system was like, and my family, they didn't really go to school. So I was left there without much guidance. And also I was placed in special education and ESL because of it, because my grades were so bad that they decided that maybe an easier class level will be beneficial for me. But then I realized that, sorry. So when that happened, I realized that I didn't really see myself in the tech field or anything like that. I decided, to be honest, I didn't even want to go to college. I didn't even think that there was a future for me because I didn't know what's out there. My parents came here for a reason, and I didn't know what was that purpose was. So as I was in middle school, I was still in special education, and because of that, I felt like there was some opportunities that I wasn't allowed to take. For example, when I went to high school, I wasn't allowed to take like geometry or trig, and like if any of you in high school, you wouldn't know that, hopefully or not. But I felt like I wasn't even allowed to take a computer science class because of my background, because I was placed in special education. And for what reason why I was placed there is because they told me about it's because of my speech impairment. I don't know if that's true or valid or not, but I'm just gonna go with it. And I felt like so I felt like it wasn't meant for me. I didn't feel like STEM was for me until I was introduced from it from my older brother. He told me that you should look for into coding. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? Even though I didn't know what coding was, I searched it up on YouTube. Didn't know what coding was still. After watching YouTube videos, I was like, what does this mean? I don't get it at all. But I wanted to give it a shot when I was applying to high school, even though my grades were pretty bad. Like they expected like really good GPAs. So I was really shocked to know that I got accepted to a technical high school where they teach me web development. But even though when I got there, I still had to fight for it. I still have that in my record that I was in special education. I have speech impairment, which didn't allow me to take difficult classes, and I actually had to fight for that. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to at least know what's so special about coding or the tech field. And even though my family didn't know what I was fighting for, I would have to bring them up, like force them to fight for me. And I had to take so many exams to show that I could take like at least trig and geometry. And that's what I been through. And in college it's even more harder too. I was able to take computer science and web design class, and I liked it because even though I was still struggling, at the end of it I was able to create a website, and I was really happy that I was able to do something with my own effort, with my own fingers, with my own knowledge. I was able to do something even though it took like months for me to finish it. I was happy that I was able to finish it. And I really like design too. So seeing my creation up there is really nice. And college, that's a whole other level. That's like a whole other topic. But that's my journey of like when I was a kid and then up to now. So yeah.
Sheyla, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I thought it was really important that you do share this because we have girls very often that are like, oh, I don't think I can take computer science because I'm not necessarily that good at math, or I'm not in the highest math, or I'm more of a music and arts person, like math and science doesn't come easy to me. And Sheyla is killing it right now as an intern at one of the top tech companies. And it wasn't easy getting there. And she was told by all her teachers, teacher after teacher, that, in fact, you heard her say that in high school, she wasn't even allowed to take computer science. But she found a way, and she kept figuring out, like she got her brother to teach her. And then when she actually started, doing programs, and then and even when she did programs, like it wasn't easy, but she just kept persisting. And she realized she was good at it, but it didn't come natural to her. So like, for those of you who are struggling right now, or who feel like, oh, it's not as, maybe it seems like it's coming easier to some of the other girls than it is for me. It doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything in terms of like determining your future. It's just like, that's just the way it is. But what does mean is like how much you persist and how much you pursue, and you continue to pursue and you continue to try. So we're actually getting quite a few questions right now, which is funny because sometimes we ask the girls if they have questions and they're very quiet. And I guess because you girls are in college and maybe you're closer to their age, they really are much more like, I got right away, I put in the chat, I said, girls, if you have any questions, and then usually it's like dead quiet, and then until the very end, but I got like 5 questions right off the bat. So I thought it would be better that we just go right to the questions that the girls are asking. So the first question is like, what is it like to be first generation, and how do you deal with it? And I'll just open it up because all 4 of you are first generation.
I would like to start off saying it's not, the easiest, right? It's actually pretty hard, but like advice I want to give you right away, like tips that people gave me. I would definitely, if you're going to college or community college, definitely reach out to SHIP, Society of Hispanic Engineers, or NSBE, or like any, because so there are resources for you, right? I myself am like involved in a lot of club organizations that will give you like tutoring, that will give you access to books, that will give you, you know, countless times I've been like struggling with a class and somebody who I don't even know who's in like these college clubs will be like, "Oh, I know. Hello, you know, let me help you out. Here are my notes from last quarter," right? And that will absolutely just get you through everything. Um, so that is one piece of advice I have for you. I don't know if people want to chime in.
I just wanted to like echo absolutely what you just said. Just find your support systems, both like emotionally, but also like to help find these resources to help you pass your classes. Like all my friends I've met through SHIP or other clubs on campus. And you know, these same people have been able to help me like get through finals and all these other things. And I got my current internship through going to the SHIP conference. So it's a really good resource, not only for professional development, but also just getting through college. And most likely a lot of these other students that you're meeting are also first generation. I would also recommend looking to see if your school has any resources specifically for first generation students. I know it's called MESA, right? So that's on my campus and they have a whole study room just dedicated. So it's like first generation, like engineering students. So that's another great place to make friends and find other people that you can connect with.
Yeah, to go and echo off of that. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, okay. I would say just don't be afraid to ask for help. Every single professor that I've ever met wants nothing for you but to succeed. And so just going to office hours, like talking to them, no one really goes to office hours to ask teachers about, you know, more about like coursework or exactly where you are. They can help you find your path as well. And that's one of the strongest support systems I think that you can have is just asking for help, especially your professors. They'll be a huge resource for you as well.
I would like to go. So I was a bit nervous from the beginning from when I was speaking, but I want to be really real with you. It really stinks being a first generation. It stinks so bad because you don't know what you go through when you go to college. Like for example, we had a winter break. I didn't know it was a month-long winter break, and also I didn't know what class to register for. Everything is so new to you, and another thing about first gen is that you need to find people like network, that keyword network. You need to know people outside because like for my family, my mom and my dad, they're both taxi driver. I won't be able to connect with them, someone in the tech field or someone in the computer science field. I have to I have to work part-time job, go to college, and also go to networking events in order to stand out. I need to meet new people to be like, yeah, this girl is here. She's good at doing her job, and I could vouch for her. And that's like one of those three things. And also with college, oh my God, college, it's hard to keep everything balanced because you need to get like, it really depends on your situation. If you're under a scholarship, sometimes you need to maintain your GPA. If you're not, that's perfectly fine. But with college, I would definitely try to find a support group to like, especially if you're a woman in the studying computer science, because there's not much of us there. It's so hard to find friends who looks like you. So like one of this program right here is a support group. Like if you're struggling and you're telling a friend, like definitely do that at all times. If you're both studying the same, at least classes, like courses, not the same professors, like definitely like vouch for you, because that's what I do. I use Discord to reach out to my friends or like my classmate, being like, hey, I'm struggling here. Does anyone understand this problem? And also rate my professor. Check that out if you know what that is. There's another app called Coursera if you are struggling to like schedule classes, because those are two important resources I definitely recommend, and I'm gonna write them down in chat if you go to college. So yeah, those are the advice I have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I also wanted to add real quick, just echoing, it's gonna be a little scary, all right? And it's really, really good to have people to support you because there's been like countless times where I'm like, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm struggling with this class. And so having people there and like searching for resources. For example, like I didn't have a laptop when I started college, right? Did not have a laptop, so I would have to go to the computer lab every single day um, until like a fellow Latina who was in CS told me, hey, there is this FAFSA grant for first generation people and like who are studying CS and need a computer. You should apply. And so getting resources and also spreading them is like key.
Awesome. So I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. Being first generation, did all of you have the support of your parents? Good question. Actually, I know, Jovita, I know a little bit of your background, so maybe you can start.
All right. I, love my parents. I love them very much, but they did not want me to go to college. They did not want my sister to go to college. They were just very much against college because when they came to this country, they thought, oh, I want to find work, okay? But all the companies would ask them, do you have a high school diploma? Do you have, like citizenship, right? And they didn't. My dad, he never went to school, right? He taught himself how to read. And then my mom made it to middle school, right? I haven't seen her diploma, but she said she would go to middle school 3 days out of the week. Um, and so they just didn't understand. They're all like, you have your high school diploma, you can get a job. That's all we've ever wanted. Um, and also like machismo a little bit, right? Being a woman, they were really scared of me being alone. Like, um, especially since the college I was going to was kind of far away. Um, and so it was really, really tough. And I had to basically like with the support of my older sister, she really helped me out. She helped me find scholarships and like a bunch of FAFSA stuff. That way I didn't have to ask them for money, right? And so because I wasn't being supported by them financially, they couldn't say anything. Um, and like right now, we're amazing. I'm here at my house right now. And they kind of finally understand now that I have this internship, like, oh, okay, I get it. She's making money. This is good. Um, but yeah, it was really difficult at first. And no, I did not have their support. But I was lucky enough to have my older sister who really like propelled me and pushed me because I was gonna listen to them. I wasn't gonna go to college. I was gonna be like, I was gonna like go to trade school or just get like a job doing whatever. But she really like pushed me. And like that's what we're here to do for you. Like we want to push you. Like it's okay. It's gonna be scary. Like there's this quote that says, like the boat is safe on the dock, but that's not what it's meant for, right? You're not meant to just um, do what your parents tell you. You're meant to reach out and see where your ambition leads you, and it's gonna be scary, but like you can do it. I can tell you, you can do it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jovita. Does anyone else want to share? No?
I can go. I was lucky enough, like, that my parents were always like, yeah, you're going to go to college. Like, you're smart enough. Like, you should do that. But that's like, they didn't know anything about college. They didn't understand anything about the process. And so the hard part was being able to, like, my dad didn't want to file taxes, which you need in order for FAFSA and things like that. And so it was really hard to get over those hurdles. And so that's kind of where my struggles were. But I was really lucky to have them supportive, be supportive. But I didn't have any financial support, and I had learned that really fast.
I could
I
chip in.
also, oh, okay, continue.
No, go.
Oh, I just wanted to say really quick. Do you know how quick my parents turned around and were like, "Hey, maybe college isn't that bad," as soon as like money started happening? And so I'm here to say, like, in the end, it's going to benefit your family way more if you do this and go through this journey, just because you're going to be able to help them in a way that, you know, you've always wanted to.
Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to more questions because we have quite a few questions. The next question is, so a lot of you mentioned hard times, and I think some of you answered this question, support networks, but the question came, what kept you going even during these hard times? So I know that you mentioned like SHIP and support network and friends, and networking. Is there anything that you girls want to add to that question?
Sorry. Go ahead, Paula.
I think honestly, just finding, like Mary said, like Jovita said, like Sheyla said, just finding your support system and people that are going to be there when you're not feeling your best, and people that you can count on to really just have your back and just keep help you move forward, I would say.
Yeah, I would say adding on to that, just like believing in yourself, like, you know, being a Latina in CS, it's really easy to feel like you don't belong, or like, oh, you're behind in the game and like you don't know as much as you should. But knowing that like you can do it and you belong there, and really building up your own confidence, it's like, I am meant for this. Even if like I'm struggling in this class, it is one class, I can keep going. So just knowing like I'm going to continue to do great things, like that's always like continued to push me through hard times.
That's a great point. I was hoping someone brought it up, because at the end of the day, you can have the most amazing support network, but if you don't believe in yourself, it just doesn't matter anything. It doesn't mean much. And on that note, have you girls always believed in yourselves? And what helped you build that confidence to believe in yourself? So good. So go ahead and share.
I could talk about that. So when I first went to college, I decided to go for a computer science degree. My first CS class, I got a C. And then I had the next one. I failed twice with a big bad F. And my self-esteem was destroyed because I was thinking, is this really right for me? Should I keep going? And I was telling my dad about all this, like, should I keep going? And he was like, so you're gonna give up like that? And I was like, oh dang, you didn't have to say like that. And I was like, and then I was like, the reason why I kept going is because there's programs like these. There's programs like these that's willing to help Latinos and women to keep going forward. Why? There must be a reason, because you can really make an impact. Your perspective could make a change. And that's why I decided, when times are tough, I decided to keep going, because I knew there was something out there. I knew these classes doesn't define me. I knew that work was going to be way different compared to these classes. And I think that's what made me keep going. And when I first got my first internship, it's different. It's completely different from your classes. Yes, you use some of the knowledge you use, but it's way different. A bunch of my coworkers didn't even study computer science, and they're managers, and I think that's impressive. And I want all of you to believe in that yourself like that as well. I have a big family that like virtual stuff is
It's okay, Sheyla. A lot of our students do too, so it's no problem. How many of you have brothers and sisters in the background? We know when they unmute themselves, a lot of them have the same situation. So don't worry, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, but that's my advice.
Thank you so much, Sheyla. And then Mary and Jovita, I remember as soon as I asked that question, you both shook your heads no. So do you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, okay, much like Sheyla, I failed my first CS class, okay? And that was, I can't describe how devastating that was for me, because, right, paying for this all on my own, don't have that much parental support except, you know, for my sister, right? And so I was all like, oh my God, this is it. You know what I mean? I'm switching majors. I can't have this. I want stability. I want, you know, to have a good job and help my family, right? And so ultimately, like, what keeps you going is like yourself, right? Like, you have to really be like, what do I want? Like, am I willing to retake this? You know, you really have to like figure out basically what you want from life. And that is like really, really hard to make that decision, especially when you're so young and you're just starting out. But yeah, I was doing it for me. I was doing it for my family. I was doing to make bank. Okay. I'm trying to make generational wealth. I'm trying to uplift my community, all that type of stuff. And then like I was like reaching out. I asked people, right? And it's like crazy how many people fail classes and nobody tells you that that's normal. It's
Yes.
normal to fail a class. And I was all like, oh
Yes.
my God, why? And so, and like what really clicked for me was there was this person named Tim. He not like person of color, right? He failed like 4 classes and he was still doing a CS major. And he was still like, yeah, I want to keep going. This is what I want to do. And like that inspired me. I'm just like he has the audacity to keep going after failing 4 classes and here I am, you know what I mean? And so you really need to like dig deep and like you have to be very like thick skinned and be like this is what I want to do. And for somebody who maybe is just starting out, I would say just try it. There's no harm in trying like one class, you know what I mean, in high school or one class in college and seeing where things go. And so yeah, I have doubted myself a lot. But again, support and myself and like just figuring out what I want.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Jovita, you're so right. I have so many students that I'm like, no, I can't do computer science. I got like, and in some cases, like, I got a B- in my first computer science class. And I'm like, B-? Do you know how many times like people are like, you got a C in your first one or people fail other ones. And it's like, it's totally normal. It's like what determines those who keep going and those who don't is like those who are just like, okay, well, it's okay. I'll take it again. And I'm going to keep trying, but I'm so glad that you shared that because there's a few people even on this call right now, and you know who you are, who it's like you get a C in the class and you think like, oh, this isn't for me anymore. And it's like, no, that's not true. Not true. Sorry. But Mary, did you have something too that you wanted to share? Like, how did you learn to ultimately believe in yourself?
It was really hard to believe in myself, especially like growing up in Silicon Valley, where it's like people are getting really huge internships in high school and in like the early years of college, when a lot of times no one's going to look at you as a freshman or a sophomore because they assume you don't know anything. So that felt really difficult. Like I felt like I just didn't have the connections or the experience. Like it was just really disheartening, but I just kept pushing through and just really believing in myself. And one thing I really did was like work and focus on my mental health, because like how are you supposed to believe in yourself if you're like struggling, not at 100%? And I know in Latinx households, mental health is not really talked about at all. But once I really like focused on that and made sure I was in a good place mentally, it was a lot easier to be confident and believe in myself and just keep going.
So I want to actually follow that up because, we've been hearing a lot about mental health with the pandemic and then with our Olympic athletes. And I know it's also been something that I've struggled with, and it's something that everybody struggles with and nobody talks about. And we did a website brainstorm with the girls and, so that they can think about what to make their website on. And the number one issue that they're facing right now is stress, anxiety, and mental health problems. And a lot of them, and some of them even mentioned like the inability to speak about mental health issues with their parents, because in the Latino community, it's not just being honest, it's not as accepted as something that's okay to deal with. And so my question is, and Mary, this is piggybacking on what you said, is like, how have you girls learned to take care of your mental health? Like, what are some things, because I think our girls are also like, there's a lack of information. Like, what does it mean to take care of our mental health? What does that look like?
I can start since I just talked. For me personally, and I know this is not the case for everyone, I knew I could not stay at home and take care of my mental health at the same time, because it's like doing things like, I don't know, going for a walk or like taking some time to yourself. Like, it's like, oh, why are you doing that when you could be cleaning, when you could be doing this, when you could be working? And so I knew, like, for me personally, like using college as way to get away from home. That was like step number one for me. And just making sure you're taking time to take care of yourself. Like, are you eating 3 meals a day? Are you, just doing all these things? And take advantage of the resources you have at school. Like, that's part of your tuition. You're paying for it. So I did that, and I loved my counselor. She was amazing, and she helped me so much. Just like get out of like negative self-talk and like me being like down on myself. And so that really helped me a lot to just like be more confident and be like less, I don't know, like insecure and passive and not feeling comfortable speaking up and those kind of things. So those are my personal recommendations.
I would piggyback off of that and just say, like, don't forget about doing what you love. Like, the second that you feel like you're being overwhelmed or anything, go back to exactly like what makes you happy, whether it's, I think exercise was something really important to me, with COVID and everything being online, it's hard to find the motivation to go outside and everything. But finally, like once you start taking that time to yourself and really making sure that you're at 100%, like everyone said, I think that's something super important.
Jovita and Sheyla, did you want to share? How do you girls take care of your mental health?
I need to do a better job. I'm gonna be honest. I need to do a better job. And it's hard.
We all need to do a better job. So that's
Yeah.
okay. We can all agree. Everyone, all the girls on this call, all our teachers, all of us, society in general can do a better job, but that's okay.
Yes. One tip. Oh.
No,
Go ahead, Jovita.
Okay. I was gonna say, be honest with yourself, right? So it took a long time for me to realize, like, oh man, I'm struggling. Maybe I need to seek out outside help, right? I felt guilty for like leaving my family to go to college. I felt guilty for not being there to take care of them. I'm the older sister. I'm supposed to be there. But making peace with the fact that even though you're not there right now, or maybe you're taking some time not to help, that time is being used as an investment, because the help that you can give them by uplifting yourself right now is going to benefit them way more in the future. And then also just like being honest. Oh my God, I feel super stressed out. Like, I need to go talk to somebody. And maybe if your school has a trusted advisor, I know I started going to like the therapy, for example, that my college provided, because I was all like super stressed and just blaming myself for kind of all the bad things happening, right? And so you need to be honest and just reach out and talk to somebody if you have that resource. And if you don't, I know like people are like, oh, meditation, but seriously, just taking some time for yourself and just like breathing in and out, I think helps, at least for me.
Sheyla, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I'm not so good with the mental health. I usually get myself some bubble tea or a treat whenever I'm not mentally like stable. And I tell my family like, hey, I like some peace for a moment. Yeah, because like food always cheers me up,
Hey, that's so fair. I love that. That so works. I mean, it's like sometimes it's literally just like going and getting bubble tea and just like taking a walk by yourself and telling everyone like, I need to not have like noise in my head for a moment. Like, I just need some quiet, and so I love that. That's great advice. Okay, so there's many other questions. I don't want to neglect the questions that are here. So let's see. There was a really good one here. Here we go. How did you get your internships?
I can start, like I mentioned. So I guess before I talk about how I got my internship, I want to mention like SHIP again and like the resources that really helped me like cultivate my resume and all that. Like SHIP helped me fix up my resume, and so did like I literally just showed it to friends and I was like, hey, can you look at this really quickly and like leave some comments? or just other mentors asking them or asking people on LinkedIn. So I went to the SHIP national conference. It's usually in person, but the year I went was virtual. And I got a scholarship through the school to attend. And you submit your resume. I got a bunch of emails to interview, and I somehow ended up here at Goldman Sachs. So yeah, so I was lucky enough to get hired through a conference.
So Sheyla just put in the chat, a mentor for girls in high school or college. So did you have a mentor that helped you get an internship?
Yeah, for me, it took like a whole long progress because I had nothing in my resume. So I had to participate in clubs. I had to like fill it up, with some technical skills to show that I'm validated. And not only that, I also for some reason, mentor was such a buzzword. And I was like, I think I need one. And that's when there's like so many mentorship programs. I listed one below for Built by Girls, where you get mentors who already have a career, such as Squarespace, Netflix, Snapchat, and they give you advice. And I'm like, I need one. I need one to help me with my resume, with my technical interviews, and also to show me other programs that's out there. Because like Code 2040, which I'm pretty sure Jovita is going to talk about, that is how I was able to get an internship with Discord. But a mentor really helped me out a lot, because someone who don't have anyone to like reach out to about career advice, I had to find some online and find some like other programs that provide it. And there's so much more. This isn't the only one. There's another one called American Needs You, depending on your college. And yeah, I'll definitely list some below.
Yes. I want to also emphasize mentorship. I didn't have a mentor, and I didn't get one until like basically right now, where I entered a program. They're like, oh, here's some advice, here's some resume tips. I'm just like, where were you so many years ago, and then internships, I had no idea what I was getting into, so I didn't even know I was supposed to get an internship. So like, newsflash, if you go to like, as soon as you get into college, I would recommend searching for an internship, which is usually a paid summer program where they teach you how to like build certain things like in a company. And so I would recommend, for those who don't know about internships, to start looking into it. Earlier the better, they say. Like, there are certain internships just for older like people in their third year of college, but there's plenty for like people who are just starting out. And I highly recommend just getting your feet wet and trying to like throw your resume out there, basically. And my internship with Discord was through Code 2040. I highly recommend that you apply. So basically, they take Black, Latinx, and any minorities out there. You apply, you do like a little technical interview, and then once you're in the pool of applicants, they prepare you and they connect you with a bunch of different companies like Discord, like Spotify, like Zillow, like a bunch of companies, and they provide mentors for you. They help you out. And so I highly recommend that you look into it.
Also, now that you mentioned that, Grace Hopper is a conference. Highly recommend for you to join and get a scholarship. I don't pay. I wouldn't recommend to pay unless. And you mentioned something else, but I forgot. But yeah, if I remember, I'll just write in the chat.
Yeah, for me, I would say just getting your feet wet as much as possible. What they want for internships is like doing little side hustles, or like having, if you do web development, like show something on your resume that they can click on and they can really see your work. For me, my first internship was at a startup. So I would say just get as much experience as possible. Because once you have I started off with a lot of different startup internships, and now I have an internship at HP. And so that was really possible only because I had a bunch of experience, and it doesn't really matter where you start off with. The end thing is just having, your resume that highlights everything that you've already done. Even if it wasn't like at a well-known company at first, you'll definitely be able to get there with all your experience.
See, girls, we're helping you build websites this week. And what Paula said is like, you know, on your resume or when you're applying. And I know that most of you are young. I know you're still either in middle school or starting high school, but you know, there are now internships. And if you stick with this program and you stick with computer science, in a few years, we can try to help you try to get an internship even in high school. I mean, there are programs doing it and there's no reason why we can't do the same. But what they're going to ask you for is a portfolio of your work. And these websites that you're building is the first thing in your portfolio. You know, we had the first 3 girls in our program. Rohan, if you want to share the link to their repos, so our girls, our speakers could see, but we had the first 3 girls who are actually from Salinas. And so they start school tomorrow. So they ended the program this morning. Actually, I think they're still on this call. They're still in this Zoom chat, but today's their last day. And so they were the first 3 to share their websites, and all 3 of them just had incredible websites. And I think they also inspired the rest of our girls, because some of the girls are struggling now to like actually put all of the curriculum together and actually create a website. It's like a whole process, as I'm sure like Mary, you know, and Paula, I believe you remember, and Sheyla, I know you've also done web development, and Jovita, I don't know if you have or not as well. But those projects, we want you to like finish with a project and take advantage of this week, and take advantage of the fact that you have your teachers to help you create a project, because that project is part of your portfolio for the rest of your life. You can show people in college, this is what I did when I was in middle school. And it's impressive. You know, those portfolios stay online and you can show them like, I did this when I was in middle school. And then as I went through high school, like I did other stuff, but it's like, it's part of your portfolio. So we really want to encourage you to like, you know, do create a website and like save it, you know, because it's something that you can share for the rest of your life. Okay, so we have another question. Were any of your teachers sometimes doubters? If so, how did you prove to them that you can do it?
I feel like I'm talking a lot, but yeah, I've had a lot of teachers.
All of you are sharing beautifully. I love it.
Okay. But yeah, so like for example, in high school, I tried to take an advanced math class. It was like an AP. And then my advisor told me, no, you shouldn't be taking that. Those are too many APs for you. When I know for a fact the girl right in front of me, who was not a person of color, was like, oh yeah, like my advisor was all like, oh yeah, definitely 3 APs for you. You could totally do it. I'm just like, wow, you're really gonna do that to me? I just want to take a cool math class. Or like for example, like my brother, they told him not to go to college and to do construction, even though he had really great grades. Um, and like professors too, like not that much professors, but like from other students, you know what I mean? Like some people are mean. But let me tell you, at the end of it, it doesn't matter, right? Because you're doing you, right? This is about you and what you want to do with your life. Those people are not going to be standing next to you when you graduate. Those people are not going to be standing next to you when you get your first job. They're not going to be standing next to you when you get your internship. You know what I mean? It's very much about you and keeping your eyes on the prize. And I also want to talk about like financially, you know what I mean? Like if there's another question about like the financial situation, I'd also like
I
to
actually realized that like if some of you can give some advice on how you've found resources to pay for college, because that's another question that just came in, but that's actually a really important one that we get all the time, even not these panels.
Let me tell you, there's like, and I kid you not, there's a boatload of scholarships for specifically women in STEM, because they know there's so few of us. And like, let me tell you, for example, I got a $16,000 scholarship, like a full ride, okay, like right out of high school to study like STEM and things like that. And so like, there are options. I'm gonna link stuff down below. Please just apply. I'm telling you, people want more women in STEM.
Awesome. Mary, Paula, or Sheyla, did you have anything to share either with how you've gotten resources to pay for college? I know it's 2 different questions, or if you've had any teachers that were doubters and how did you overcome that?
There's like a lot of stereotypes when you're a person of color and a woman when you go to college. I hope none of you would face that, but like in some situation I did, where a professor would talk about like how how women, they don't really really don't do much in computer science and let the guys do it all. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever you say. And then there's like, especially like there's like a few women, like out of 100 students, like there's like 5 or 10 women, and imagine person of color. And like it's very difficult for me to make friends, especially with some of these people like making comments about me, like saying, oh, I didn't expect you to be here, you know, you're Hispanic and you're a woman, I understand her because she's brown, but you. And I'm like, oh, I need to get new friends. But like sometimes those stereotypical like those comments, they really hit you, especially like in the whole world. Like if you go to, I don't know if you know what LinkedIn is, but sometimes even in LinkedIn there's like some discrimination, like, oh, how come there's opportunities for this Latina? And that really hit me so much. Like it hurt my self-esteem, because it made me feel like I wasn't supposed to be here or I don't belong. But like this is support system, like this program that really helps you along. And you just gotta find people like you who would treat you right, like a person. And I think like you're always, I hope you don't, but there will always at least that one person who will say something and it could ruin your whole day. But like if you meet like people who like appreciate you, it does get better. And as for scholarship, I'm part of New York. There's a scholarship called Seek where they provided like my whole financial aid. And I had to find that. You know how hard it is to find scholarship. And I was like, because my brother, he's tough on me. He was like, listen, you gotta find a Fulbright scholarship. Don't go to like SUNY's, find something in here because it's cheaper if you don't find any scholarship. And I was like, oh snap. I was like, I better find some scholarship soon to go to college. So Seek is one of them. If you're part of New York, like let me know. I don't know where everyone is already, but there's like Jovita says, there's plenty of scholarships out there that I'm sure they will love to send to you.
Yeah, so I was part of Avid during my high school experience, and if you have a chance to join, I would really suggest, because they really help a lot with getting into college, finding funding. But like everyone's saying, there's really so much money to go around, and I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but as soon as you start digging, there's scholarships for having brown hair, for being tall, for being short, for being a woman in STEM. Like there's so much money out there. And one thing that really helped me find a lot of funding was just get like an Excel sheet and just dump a bunch of opportunities little by little, go by, click the links, just apply, and you're just gonna find so much. And I think that's super important.
Yes.
I want to bring back having a mentor and like, or like just a buddy, right? Because this can be super overwhelming. Like, it can be really just like a lot, especially if you go through a scholarship and then you pour your heart into that essay and they don't give it to you. But like, I'm gonna just keep trying one and like have somebody to help you out because it can be super overwhelming.
Awesome. So girls, do we have any last minute questions? Because we're getting to the end of the hour. First of all, this panel has been so, I have goosebumps. Like you girls are just such powerful girls. And to be honest, when I was growing up, I wish I knew that I girls like you. Like, I think that maybe deep down, like I think I've created this program because maybe deep down I should have been a computer scientist. But like, I remember when I was transferring to Berkeley, I picked mechanical engineering because coding like scared the heck out of me. And I didn't know any Latina girls. Like I was very close with SHIP. And to this day, I don't know anyone, like all of my friends that graduated, we were either chemical engineers or mechanical engineers. Like I was very close to the SHIP chapter at Berkeley, but there was no EECS girls in SHIP. So like, I think that like, had I known girls like you, had I seen girls like you in my college, like maybe that would have inspired me to just try, but I was too scared to even try, you know? So I think like I'm sort of like creating the community that I wish I would have had when I was growing up. But you girls are such incredible powerhouses. And I love your vulnerability and sharing your stories and sharing it. It hasn't been easy for any of you, but that you've overcome so much and that you are overcoming so much. And I just can't wait to see, even in 5-10 years, when you girls are senior managers and directors in tech, or even starting your own companies and leading your own teams, like it's really going to change the type of technology that we put out in the world, because we have more diverse voices into, you know, creating that technology. And you girls are just so incredibly powerful. I just really want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for sharing your stories, and just seeing you sort of like vibe off each other and realizing, like, you know, that all of you have very similar experiences.